Hey, buddy, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Not too bad. It's been a week.
Yeah?
Good one. Staying busy. Things are going well. Getting a little stressful at work, which kind of plays into today's topic, but it was month end and we got through it, so right at the start of the month, I can relax a little. How about you?
Yeah, I don't miss those month-end days. Or month, yeah. Yeah, doing great, man. Just living the dream. Ready for another great episode.
Yeah, me too. So since today's my topic, I decided to pick health of mind and body, because this is an important one. And if it's something I struggle with as a single man, I can only imagine what dads have to go through. And so just kind of my perspective, being single, wanting to be a dad, and then leading into like how I see it into what you as a dad of now two and one being a newborn, like how this all works out and how we're going to kind of encourage our children to have this placement of importance on this topic.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, that's some great stuff. Like going from my 20s, like teens and 20s, like health of mind and body was basically like aesthetic,
right.
and that motivation only got me so far. But now there's so much more to it, and yeah, how do we convey that and model that for our children? So really excited about this, man.
Yeah, I'm just gonna jump right into it with mental spewage, maybe, I guess. I don't know. We're just see where this takes us.
Bring it.
No, it's just so important to me because we're not just our body and we're not just our mind, we're both. And we have to strike this balance and this health for both. Like, we place so much importance on keeping our physical body healthy. Like, we go to doctors, we get vaccines, we maybe have an exercise routine or walks or eat healthy or things like that, and we'll get into that, like just the benefits of all of those things to have on impact on just every other aspect of your life, but as well through my own personal struggles with mental health, like the importance of keeping that like in good working order. I can't remember who I was having this conversation with, but it was exactly what I just said. If we go to a doctor for our body, why aren't we going to see one for our mind when we need it?
Mm-hmm.
And I know you have your own experiences with that. I myself too, as well. See, I'm not afraid to like talk about my own issues when it kind of like opens up that barrier for other guys to try to relate to this. But I struggled with depression for the last, how old am I? 35. So last,
sounds right.
probably like almost 20 years since I was 16, 17. And I never really addressed it properly till I was in my mid to late 20s. And because you find ways to kind of like push it off. And then for me in my 20s, it was like focusing on health of body, and you can just be like, okay, now I'm keeping myself healthy, I don't need to worry about this or that, and we'll deal with that later, or this is a non-issue.
And there are like some positive mental side effects from when you do focus on your body.
Right.
So maybe it kind of like Band-Aid fixes it a bit or something.
But I mean, and then you and Sarah personally have seen me at like when the lowest of lows would hit me, and like the effect like that has on not only your friendships and relationships, but on like your own personal like self-worth and everything.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it wasn't until my late 20s that I actually started like talking to a therapist about like what was going on, and within 10 minutes he was like, I know where we gotta go. And so that just reinforced the whole like, oh yeah, like I need to keep my mental health in a positive state and nourish it and tend to it the way I do with my own body. And I mean, since then it's been so much better. and then it goes hand in hand, kind of, with the health of your body, like placing the appropriate attention to your body, and you alluded to it, like has some side effects to like boosting your mental health, but it's okay. Now I'm going to tend to my mental health, and that actually has positive impacts on the health to your physical body. So to me, this is just a really important topic to address, and as I feel like as men, there's a stigma surrounding that.
Yeah. Well, the needing help, like
Yeah.
men should be strong, and not, and there's a stereotype of quashing emotions, but no, you're allowed to feel your emotions. Actually, it's healthy to feel your
Right.
emotions and process them. Like, yeah. So exactly, there is a stigma of in men against it.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. At least my social media feed, it's full of promotion of the health of body, because I'm into that. I'm trying to like have routine. I want to be able to be. My goal isn't to be Mr. Olympia, but it's, and we've talked about this before, both on this podcast and in our personal conversations, Paul. It's, I want to be able to do things with my future kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that resonates. Question for you. So you said you like finally went to see a doctor after dealing with depression for about a decade. What was the impetus for finally taking that step?
Oh, it was like the collapse of everything I know in life.
So like was it like basically rock bottom or like close there too, or?
There was a lot of external factors at play. And the biggest one, and you and I just spoke about this 5 minutes ago, was when my mom sat us all down and just said, hey, look, I just came back from the doctor and they discovered a tumor and we don't know what it's going to look like. And
Some of the scariest news you can hear or deliver. Either.
Right.
Yeah.
And you of all people know firsthand what that means. And so that was like I was already dealing with depression, and that was like my first real experience of anxiety. It wasn't as bad as what other people experience, but you can't compare that. It's what you experience is what you experience.
Right.
And then there were some other external factors going on as well. I think, yeah, I had just ended like a 3-year-long relationship with somebody. I was working 3 jobs, full-time school, and that was struggling. That was taking a physical toll on me, which was taking a mental toll on me. So it was just like all these things just crashed down within a span of literally 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And me being me was like, all right, gotta tough this out, get through it, just like your stereotypical man excuses that we make up for ourselves, which aren't bad, because we are in a way called to be the stronger people in both aspects. But it was just like there was just a point where it's just, I need help. I can't get through this. And so it wasn't like suicidal or anything, but it was a point where it's like, I'm at the end of my rope. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to handle this. I've never felt this low before. And I want to be normal again.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, kudos to you, man, for taking that step, because not everybody does, but yeah, it can have a massive impact. I mean, like you've mentioned it, like you've gained a lot of benefits from it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, again, going the hand in hand with health of mind and body. Like during that time, like I gained so much weight, like my T levels plummeted, and no motivation to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even the stuff I love to do was just bleh. And so, yeah, it just got to the point where I don't want to feel like this anymore. And I basically accepted, like, I can't do it on my own. Like, I think there's just like that point where no matter what you're going through, similar to like when you go to a medical doctor, it's like you try to tough out an infection, and it's just like nothing good's happening. I gotta go see a doctor. And so it was just kind of like the same mindset that went through. It was just like I have this mental issue, and I've been doing everything I know, trying everything I can. I gotta go see a professional about this.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, had quite a few sessions with that, and you just learn. And honestly, it was kind of like the remedy to it is it's kind of similar to how you take care of your body. Like, here's the structure you have to set up. And in some cases I didn't need it, but I know in some cases, like, here's some medication that's going to help you. Here's like how are we going to build the plan for you to get healthy again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what type of mental diet and exercise do you need to follow to become strong, build that back up. And
Yeah.
so yeah, absolutely a life-changing moment for me. And since then, like, mental health has been like a huge, very important topic to me. So whenever someone says, I don't know about this or that, and I'm like, have you talked to a therapist or considered talking to a therapist about some of this stuff? Because what it sounds like is something that they would be able to help you with. Like,
Yeah.
especially when someone has a lot going on.
Yeah, I'm of the opinion that, like, therapy, because right now, or up to when I started doing therapy, it was like, oh, therapy is only for those who have an official diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm of the opinion that, like, therapy should just, kind of like you alluded to at the beginning, we need to invest in our mental health as at the same as we do as our physical health, and I think therapy should be a part of that. And not necessarily every week or whatever, but like just a more regular thing. You touch in with your therapist, even if you're not actively dealing with depression or and some sort of diagnosis, because we need to give, and there are other things we can do outside of therapy, and we can get into that fosters the health of our mind. But yeah, I think it would be beneficial to us as a society where if that just became, and I think is becoming more commonplace.
In the last like decade or so, since I started paying attention to it because of my own condition, you really do start to see that, and it's even becoming more and more commonplace amongst like kids. A lot of the school systems now have that type of system. There's family situations where we kind of take for granted the resiliency of kids, but I know in amongst my nieces and nephews, like, they're like, going to therapy has been something that has been absolutely tremendous and beneficial in helping them overcome like all the trauma that they had to go through.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's a really interesting point about resilience. Like, I've heard parents refer to that as kind of like a catch-all crutch, you know. It's, oh, kids are resilient, they'll bounce back, they'll be fine. But really, I mean, they feel it just as strongly as adults do, and probably more so, given the sensitivity of their
and
stage
how impressionable they are.
And how, I mean, their prefrontal cortex isn't fully formed, isn't fully developed. They're figuring out life. Yeah, like you said, impressionable.
Yeah, so and we'll get into that more in a little bit here, like when we talk about how we encourage that with kids too. But like, Now flipping back to like health body, like I brought up, okay, I want to be sane in mind because I need to be, but then we kind of have to go into, okay, so why is that so important to us? Okay, we want to live our best lives with our spouse, with our children, be balanced there, have control, like being able to have control over our emotions and our feelings and channeling it properly, and then being able to understand and deal with our own family members, having that understanding, that recognition of where they're coming from in certain scenarios, like mentally, absolutely important and beneficial. But then now we go into like health of body, and I've said that already like 3 times. Like they kind of prop each other up in a way. I like to think of it as 2 sides of the arch, and there's like the one stone that holds them both together, but they make the one the one arch, or whatever example you can draw to where they make this amazing architectural piece, and they're both supports to it, but they're all in one unified architectural piece. And I mentioned I want to be able to do things with my children. I want to make sure that I'm there for them during play, during whatever. So it's like I'm only going to put in to my body what's good for it, and I'm going to condition myself to be able to have the physical endurance I will need to sustain the lifestyle that I want to live. And it's going to be like I only get to see it through you and through my older brother right now very closely, and just like how physically demanding fatherhood is. And so if I want to do that, I got to make sure that my body's prepared for that.
Yeah, no, that resonates. Initially, my aspiration was like, oh, I want to be like Grandpa Santa Claus. Well, no, not Santa Claus. That picture that circulated years back was like Brett Favre looking like a buff Santa Claus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that was my.
I think it was your brother that was sending that to us for a little bit.
Probably. So that was my aspiration. It's like when I'm a grandpa, like I want to be like that, so I can be like hustling up a mountain with my grandkids on my back and whatever. And that still is my aspiration. But like to your point, now is okay. I want to be able to like run around with Evie at the end of the day, or like jump on the trampoline and not get tired. Like
right, exactly.
Like stuff that you might take for granted, but after a long day of work, of emotional or what have you, are you going to run to the park and like actively play on the playground, or are you going to be like, hey, let's throw on a show? So yeah, like it doesn't just happen. Like you have to make it happen. And like you said, you're going to put into your body what allows you to get there.
Right.
And that's something that helps me with both mind and body. It's just like looking at it like a formula. Like energy, well-being being the output. That's just a simple solution to the formula of whatever you put into your body or whatever you put into your brain.
Exactly. I like that.
You put in good shit, you're going to have a good shit. I mean,
no, but it's so true. And you look at what's out there on like social media, TVs, and whatnot. And if you're only consuming that, like, what are you feeding your mind? And then you see what's out there for food. And this is a podcast where we're only going to scratch the surface of this. I really want to come back to each topic separately in a later date. Because it's so important. But yeah, you see, like, what's quick and easy is not the healthiest. What's good for it might be the cheapest, it might hold you over, but is that really going to contribute to you like sustainably being able to keep up with your kids or just do like some type of family activity together, or is gonna just promote your couch potato lifestyle. So I absolutely agree with your formula. That's basically how I see it too.
Yeah. And I mean, you talk about this being an aspiration to be a high energy dad, but this is something that affects you today, like as a single man too, right?
Yeah, but I get to pick and choose.
Fair. Yeah.
It's not my lifestyle. It's something I get to choose to participate in or not right now.
Very, very good point. But as far as, I mean, showing up to work in the morning, like I imagine on the days that you've had a good night's sleep and you've got good fuel in your body, like you're going to be operating on a much higher level than days that you've had a shitty night's sleep and chow down a couple donuts.
Right.
But so going back to the formula and well, more so what we're putting into our body. Like you talk about the quick fix, you throw in a, I don't know, some pizza pockets or corn dogs or whatever in the air fryer, and boom, you got a quick meal. It's tasty. Open up a bag of chips. Or like you're hungry between lunch and dinner, and what's easy to grab? A handful of chips, piece of candy, whatever. Like this is where like habits come into play. And habits, I think, are a crucial building block of health of mind and body. And maybe I'm jumping ahead here. But
let's go down this, see where it goes.
Yeah. So you have lunch and you're like, ooh, a shake sounds good. Mm-hmm. And then you go eat a shake and then boom, like a little bit later you feel like crap.
Yeah.
And if you're not paying attention to it, you're like, oh, I feel like crap and I'm tired and I'm angry. What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
But if you think about it, like, oh, you're having a sugar crash.
Exactly.
Like, so a lot of it is like coming in tune with your body and recognizing how it's affecting you, and then building the habits to produce the healthy lifestyle that you want. Because like planning out your meals,
right? Shopping for good foods.
Mm-hmm, eliminate the bad shit you have around. Because if it's there, you're gonna eat it.
Absolutely, and that's such an important piece too. It's like you're only gonna have that around if you actually go out and buy it. You're like conscious, like you have to make that conscious decision to be like, I'm gonna put high processed sugar stuff into my body, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like you said, every now and then a milkshake is great.
Absolutely,
every
you
now
know
and,
yourself.
Exactly. Like,
but if you're treating yourself every day, it's really a treat.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. There's all that types of stuff that I love. I have a big sweet tooth.
Yeah.
So I try to limit my.
Oh, I have a massive one.
I try to limit my especially for donuts. I love a good donut.
Give me a good Boston cream, man. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite donut?
Oh, I'd have to say my go-to is just a glazed with a black cup of coffee. It's just perfect. But I'm not eating glazed donuts or chocolate frosted donuts every day
if only.
Right. I mean, back when I was 16, trying to put weight on, that was my go-to. Maybe that's why I have a sweet tooth.
Or back when we lived together and ate. What was it like?
Chocolate frosting.
Yeah. Just fudge out of the can. Out of the... just straight. Oh my god.
Hey, but we limited ourselves to 1 spoon a day.
one massive spoon. while either of us was looking, right?
Right.
Those were the days. But yeah, I mean, like that kind of highlights like you if you're like walking down the aisle and you see like sweet cereal or whatever, and you're like, oh, like that sounds good. I'm going to get that, and I'm going to get that. I'm going to get that. Like you are you're allowing yourself
Mm-hmm.
to live according to your whims, which then reduces your control, basically. Like, you don't have control of the variables that are
And
so
you know
crucial.
what that's called?
Tell me.
Discipline.
Bam, bam. Yeah, discipline. I don't like the word discipline, though.
I don't mind it. To me, discipline is having self-mastery. That's what discipline is.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I think, to me, and this is just a me thing, but I think to me, like, discipline is akin to, like,
Getting a
willpower.
spanking?
That too. Yeah, that too. Man, trauma.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong. And in many ways, to me, discipline... I see what you're saying. Because on a surface level, they are the same, discipline and willpower. But does willpower necessarily mean you have self-mastery over your those inclinations, those, I don't know what other words, there's better words out there, but willpower can get you through a hard gym session to me. Discipline is having a routine set up where every day I'm going into the gym.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Discipline, looking beyond my initial reaction, like, discipline is designing your life through conscious decision, like conscious and consistent decisions.
Yes. So
And like, that is empowering.
It
You
is.
get to either you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna, like, see bag of chips, eat bag of chips. See
Right.
piece of candy, eat piece of candy. And then, I guess I'm going to feel like however I feel after I eat whatever I eat. Or, okay, I'm going to eat lunch at this time, dinner at this time. These are the snacks that, like, are on my okay list. And I know what I'm going to eat. I know when I'm going to eat it.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, I know what I'm putting into my body. And I know how I'm going to feel.
right. Like, in this context, discipline is just it's the like in the health of body, it's just all the good habits built up to a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
And yet, like you said, you're going through the grocery store, ooh, there's cupcakes or there's those donuts in that case. They're not bad. I like them. They're good. But discipline would be like, oh, you know what? I have some other sweet at home. Do I need to have another sweet at home? And if I do this, I know I'm going to have... Am I really going to be able to keep myself to one? Yes or no? Like, there's the discipline on, okay, you buy them. It's good. It's good. You found a way you can fit into your diet for the week. And now it's, okay, can I limit myself to just the one I said? There's all these different levels, and we make it sound so easy.
Yeah. Oh.
But and this is where the willpower leads to the discipline. I think willpower is kind of like a step to gaining.
So I think it kind
That's
of
why-
depends by what you mean by willpower, because I would
Do
take
you
umbrage
have
at that.
Do you have the power of your free will over your free will to choose to actually sit and reflect on the choice you're going to make instead of see candy, eat candy?
Yes, and no. So, like, to me, relying on willpower without... No, let me put it this way. I think willpower is important, but is not sufficient.
I agree with that.
On its own will last you, like, one or two, like, maybe it'll get you through 21 days, which actually isn't sufficient to build a habit. Maybe it will even get you longer. But, like, the toll that it has on you mentally, emotionally and physically, like it outweighs the benefits that you're getting. So I think, like in my opinion, you need to support your willpower with an extremely well-defined plan.
No, I'm
So,
not.
like-
I'm not. I won't disagree to that.
Because if you say, an example, if you say, I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week, and you leave it at that,
Right.
then chances are, like, maybe the first couple weeks, like, it comes down to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you're like, oh, I haven't gone yet. Okay, so you bang out the 3 gym sessions, like, the last 3 days of the week, and then slowly but surely, like, it just, it wears on you. Or you're like, okay, I'm going to go 3 times a week. I'm going to go, like, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. I'm going to go right when I wake up. And, like, this is, like, I already have my workout planned, right? And the bare minimum I'm going to do is, like, even if I just get there and walk for 10 minutes, like, that's sufficient because I just want to build that habit of going there. Like, that, which plan is going to be that much, which plan is going to be more successful?
Yeah. No, I'm not disagreeing with that. I kind of wrap up this awesome little tangent. We have, like, different aspects on the word. And so, yeah, like, you're the way you're, like, I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm probably getting hung up on my own personal prejudices.
But no, I think this goes to show not all of us are going to see it in the same light.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, we have to find what carries us through in a good way for the health of our body and the health. And you brought up, like, the negative connotation and the negative effects relying on willpower alone is going to have on your mental health. Either probably aren't going to be drastic, but every time you little by little kind of like chisel away at that, what should be a solid foundation, you're weakening that part of your mental health, so to say. And so it's finding out how to channel using the tools such as willpower appropriately and not relying on that. I'm not going to use a shovel to dig a trench when I have a tractor that will do it.
Right. Yeah, or to use another analogy, it's like the difference between trying to go and just push a train each time, like from a dead stop to get moving each time, to, okay, hey, I'm just going to accelerate the train a little bit more.
Right. So all this to say, it's very important to us as dads and aspiring dads to take care of our body, because just as much as we depend on our body, like the health of our body, our children do too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because, yeah, how it dictates how well you'll be able to show up. And we talked about, like, showing up in play,
right,
but also, like, having the, like, I used to think patience was just, like, a magic virtue that, like, you had or you didn't, or that you had to apply with willpower. But no, it's like optimizing the state of your mind and body so that, like, you are rested enough, you are mentally prepared enough for a tantrum.
Right.
And it's not always going to be that case, but you can set yourself up for success or not.
Right. And so that leaves us with, how do we, again, just scratched, didn't even get deep into this topic, Paul. Just covered, like, the importance of it to us. But how do we encourage our children? Let's start with mental health, because that's what, and I'll try to keep us on track here, because this is going to be a little bit of a short episode. Like, how do we encourage that in our children? And then, like, how do you encourage health of body, like, in your children? And to me, like, it's just being willing and able to have open communication on a level your kids can understand, to express your emotions in words and not be afraid to, or under duress, to communicate that. Wow, what am I doing? So I've used this example already a couple times in previous episodes, but with the autistic nieces and nephews I have, it's really important because they don't know how to communicate that. So it's just, okay, what are you feeling inside? I feel like this. So what's making you feel that way? Like, you really do have to kind of like play the therapist role, and just ask questions. But then, as well, it's just kind of like ask them questions then to get them thinking about, so you have these emotions and you feel this way, like, when this happens again, what can you do, or what can we do right now that's going to, and try to get them to think of like what's going to be beneficial for them. And then again, as they get older and they'll be more comfortable to just communicate what's going on with them inside of them. And then you can be like, oh, I don't know if I can help with this one. We might need to see the brain doctor, as we call it in the family. So that's something you need, and whatever you tell the brain doctor, I don't know about unless you want to tell me. So it's just encouraging them to find those, to explore those avenues that when they need them, but also to just be open and honest with themselves and with I'm just the uncle, but when I have them, like when I'm looking after them, to be honest with me, like I want to be someone that they can like just have there, that they can rely on, and because that's what I want with my children. Like, I want to know what's going on. So with you, what do you do with Evie at this time?
I say, figure it out, kid. Nah, just kidding. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's helping them learn how to process these emotions themselves. I think oftentimes when I mean, even as adults, we don't always know the emotions that we're dealing with. I read a book recently, and in the book, it might have been John Fogle's Punishment-Free Parenting, which doesn't mean discipline-free parenting. But John Fogle's the influencer that we did a reaction episode on. Yeah. One of his reels the other week. But anyway, I think it might have been his book, and he was talking about how he said, okay, take a minute to list all the emotions. And apparently the average number of emotions that American adults know can list in a minute's time is like 3. Anger, sadness, happiness. But many of us know that there's many more emotions than that. Right. And so, but even as adults, we don't always know like what we're feeling or why we're feeling it, and it takes a moment to recognize that and to kind of cool down from it. Now, put yourself in the shoes of a child who's even less so knows what these emotions are, and it can be scary. Like, they're scary, they're confused, what's going on. Not to mention that, especially if they're having a tantrum or whatever, like, they are not thinking rationally. Like, their fight or flight reaction is triggered. Right. Response is triggered. And so they are like reacting. They are literally reacting instinctively, and they see everything as like a threat. So I think the first step to teaching them the importance of mental health is giving them the tools to deal with their emotions, and that's helping them be safe, allowing them to feel safe in those moments, to help them calm down in those moments. Like, one tip is like getting down on their level and
Right.
taking deep breaths, because they like, don't even tell them to breathe. Like, just start taking deep breaths. The mirror neurons will kick in, and they'll even if they're not doing the same thing, they'll start calming down. Or even just being the presence in their room. Like when Evie storms off because she's mad, she's angry, she doesn't want anybody to be near her. Something I do based off of a recommendation is I go and I sit in the room with her. If she doesn't want me touching her or being near her, that's okay. I'm not going to let her figure it out on her own because she doesn't know how.
Right.
And like she might push us away, but that's when she most needs us.
Right.
So I'll go and I'll sit on the other side of the room there and be like, hey, you're safe, you're okay, I'm here for you. And then eventually, like without fail, she'll calm down. Either she'll come over or I'll go over to her. And then that's like when you can start talking about that stuff. Hey, or maybe not. Maybe you have to come back around to it. But I think those couple of things, like helping them feel safe, and then coming back around and helping them like talk, like, how did you feel in the moment? Helping them process, like telling them that it's okay to feel that way. Helping them give names to it. Helping them understand why they felt that way. And not giving them the answers, but asking the questions. So I think those are some of the key things that we can do when they're kids to help them.
Yeah, not being a dad yet, like this is all good to hear, and it's stuff I get to test on my nieces and nephews. But yeah, that's as me as a dad, like that's something that I'm drawn to, wanting to be a dad. That's something I'm drawn towards, wanting to be like you have to be the parent, not their friend, and so you have to make that distinction in your mind. But like you said, just encouraging them, like that specific example you said with Evie, just resonated with me. It was just like, oh, my daughter's mad. Gonna respect. She doesn't want to be held. Gonna respect that, but I'm here to show her that she doesn't have to go through this emotional issue on her own. That's powerful. And like encouraging. Yeah, I just really like that. I don't know. I don't really have any other words. It just hit me on a different level.
Yeah, I mean, because you put yourself in their shoes, like they don't know what they're feeling. It feels bad.
Right.
And left to their own devices, what more often than not, what's going to be their conclusion? I am bad. I'm
right.
And the more that they're thinking like I'm a bad person, the more that's going to show in the rest of their life. When they're not. Like, you're a good kid. This happens to all of us. It's normal, and it's just about your emotions are telling you something about yourself that you need to address and recognize.
Yeah. Man, I want this conversation to go on forever. This is so good. Like, health of body, I mean, there's so many small practical things. Like, if you're taking care of your own body, you can do it together with your kids. Oh, we're having this meal. I want chicken nuggets and mac and cheese and cake. Well, I want that too. But was that really going to help? Just honestly, I found with my nieces and nephews, just talking about nutrition helps them like realize things. Like my autistic nephew, he'll have a treat. He's like, he's like, how many grams of sugar are in this? I'm like, this amount. He's like, that's a lot. That can't be healthy. And it's just like, yeah, well, you're only having one, so it's okay. He's like, yeah, if you ate this every day, that would be so bad. So it's just kind of like just having those simple conversations. Okay, well, this is why we're eating this for dinner. This is why you're having that. No, you can't. Instead of just saying, no, you can't have candy. Just make it a conversation.
Yeah.
You could, but we're trying to help you make good decisions for your body. So there's no treats now because you've already had a treat before, and if you have too many treats, you get sick or you feel bad. Or do you remember what happened the last time? This and make them like recall a situation and think about that. Oh yeah. Do you want to feel like that again? but not just saying, "Oh, you're not having chicken nuggets and mac and cheese because it's bad." No, just have a really fun conversation with them about health and
asking questions,
Mm-hmm.
building awareness,
And
or
that's
maybe sometimes you do let them have that piece of candy or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and then, or like they chow down a whole bag of candy, and then an hour later feeling like garbage.
And then
How are you feeling?
Right.
Why are you feeling that way?
And then just have an exercise. I mean, I know Evie loves swimming, so that's easy on that part. But it's also something that you enjoy, so it's just kind of like, hey, let's go swimming because it's fun. Like it's easy at that level for physical activity to just not even have to have that type of conversation because kids love it. Parents love doing stuff with their kids, at least in my mind.
Yeah. Well, like this morning, I was doing planks, and Evie decided to come and lay on top of me. So did I love it? Not necessarily, but yeah, it's great. Like she sees me doing this, and it was just a small, short 10-minute routine, but she's there, and I think that is the other powerful tool we have is modeling this stuff for our kids. And
a fun little science fact. We brought this up. I know we brought this up, but I'm going to say it again. Fathers and children both receive the most oxytocin release when they're doing physical activity together.
I'm glad you brought that up because I don't know if I remembered that, if it registered last time. That's awesome.
So it's very important for us as fathers, as uncles, to engage in that playful activity, physical activity with our children because that's where our bonds form the strongest.
Yeah. And the added benefit there is, if like you're going to feel good doing that, and then so they're associating feeling good with exercise as opposed to, or exercise with feeling good as opposed to like exercise. Oh my goodness, I have to do this because they made me do it or whatever the case may be. So they're going to be more inclined to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I'm going to be, especially now that we're coming into the summer months. Screen time's going to dwindle. We're going to be outside fishing, exercising, hiking. So it's going to be good. But again, like I said, I wish this conversation could go on forever. I have to, unfortunately, head out, Paul.
All right. The end of another Scratch and Sniff episode.
Exactly. But we have a whole podcast series to come back to these, which only makes it better.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. You want to take us home, buddy?
Yeah, I thought you had something else you wanted to say, but for sure.
I did say yes.
No, so yeah, thank you very much, Paul, for just having a very brief conversation on such deep, rich, important topic for us for you as father, for me and us as aspiring fathers. It helps me to have these conversations, especially on these topics that are important to me, to better align my goals and sights towards the type of father I want to be, because I get all the ins and outs before I get there. So, no, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts as a current dad. It's awesome. So, yeah.
Yeah, happy to share my very limited, very one-sided thoughts, but I had fun talking about this with you, man.
Oh, I appreciate that. So, from Paul and I here at the YDAB podcast, we thank you all for tuning in and listening, and I hope that today's episode really inspires you, draws you to reflect on these very, very, at least to me, important topics. They should be important, in my opinion, to everybody, and to really place them into the perspective that they need to be. So,
yeah. And if it did, share it with a friend, share it with a spouse, and subscribe, and be sure to tune in next time.
Exactly. Well, thank you all, and thank you, Paul.
Thanks, Baba. Toodles.
Bye. Toodles, poodles.